Okay guys, so here's a few really good design tips if you're going to be making your own MatterHackers Hex Tiles. These are partly rules that I can't change, which would be the design constraint of 150 millimeters from there to there along the vertexes and with the 2 points facing up. But here's a couple of little design tips that I figured were worth sharing based off my project progress. So rule number one is always keep the original. The reason why is once you start slapping down a bunch of cool logos, it makes it a lot easier than trying to go back and find the original, and then it causes downstream errors. It's just better to come up with a copy of it, make a copy of it, and work from that. Now another thing that is helpful is to space your models out so you don't get a situation like this where we have the diesel and the steam train trying to pop through each other. Not very smart move on my part, but I kept that there just as a way to show you guys what not to do. Fusion doesn't really care how many you make. You could even do an array of the originals and just slap logos down as you go. It's completely up to you, but just keep that in mind. Now when it came to the actual images that I put on here, I ended up finding some SVGs online of trains. You can either find an SVG, you can create an SVG, it's totally up to you. I'm just going to use this one really fast just for demonstration purposes. I've selected the SVG and I'm going to select the plane that I want to drop it on, which is that right there. And then you'll see the SVG is over here. I'll drag it over. And you can see it is upside down right now. Well, that's a problem because I want my SVG upright. So you can either use the vertical flip, which does it 180 degrees, or you can use this little dial right here to spin it 180 degrees. Although I will say the vertical flip is pretty nice because it flips it around the natural axis point of the SVG, which is a lot easier. Now in the case of this one, I do like how it's scaled, and I'm just going to roughly drop this in here. But if you don't like the scaling, you can either scale it using the built-in tool right here. Do note though, as you scale the model up or down, its size can grow dramatically or shrink dramatically, so be careful when doing that. Another option is to use this little scale slider here, where you can either scale it way up or way down at a fast rate. Personally, it's a little bit tricky to use as well, but really at the end of the day, just use whatever you want. So once you have the SVG where you like it and the sizing that you want, you can hit the OK button, and you'll see the SVG has now been dropped down as a green icon with areas that you can extrude. Now I'm not going to go ahead and extrude this because it'll mess up the original model, but I did design this little edge around here to be 1 millimeter from there to there, and I've decided to make the image 1 millimeter as well. You can make it taller, you can make it thinner. It's totally up to you, but that's just something to keep in mind when you're doing this. So delete that because we don't need it. But that's pretty much in a nutshell how you can go about creating your own hex tiles. Now, one thing I will say is for those of you in the model training community who do not have a 3D printer, I will be offering these for sale in an Etsy store in either the raw 3D printed condition, where they will probably just be a silver base color, or I will also be offering them for a little bit extra with filler primer on top, so it's ready for you to do whatever you want with. Now in part 2 of this, I will be showing you guys how I go about finishing these models to make them look epic, sending them down to MatterHackers, and then hoping that maybe they land up on the wall down there. And if they don't, it's no big deal. This was just a for fun project, and I figured, you know what, this is a cool way to create a little bit of wall art that would actually look pretty cool in somebody's train room. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you here hopefully on part 2, where we discuss the print finishing and actually take these from 3D designs and make them into an actual physical 3D product. See you guys later. Catch you on the next one.